Okay, very good morning. Thank you everybody for coming to this event. I was told that I'm supposed to stand there for like 10 seconds so that photo can be taken. I can look like a superstar. But then I realized, actually, I'm not the superstar. The superstar is sitting here. You guys are the superstar, right? So without your support, we are nobody. So thank you. Thank you for supporting this event and our solution. Yes, my name is James. I'm based in Singapore. I flew in yesterday, so thank you for having me to grace this event. I've been with Citrix for 15 over years. Oops, don't guess my age. Okay, so I think many of us might have heard of Citrix. How many have heard of Citrix before? Can you just raise your hand? Yes, I saw a few hands, thank you. All right, maybe some of you are shy. We are very well known in the market for our VDI solution, our application and desktop publishing technology, HDX protocol, and some of us, some of the customers also use our ADC technology, also known as NetScaler, our load balancer web application firewall. But today, I'm not going to talk about these two technologies. I'm going to share with you something new. All right, the Citrix has launched in the market. Now, if you're not aware, this technology that we have launched, this offering, is called SPA. SPA. Not the spa, not the massage spa. Okay, SPA stands for Secure Private Access. All right, so let me walk you through. How many of you today already have security devices like IDS, IPS, firewalls, all implemented in your environment? Secure Web Gateway, yes. On-prem, you have? Yes, right? So this is the traditional way of securing, the old perimeter defense, okay? This old perimeter defense is obviously still relevant, it's important today in our networks, because without a perimeter defense, whenever there's access coming in from the internet or from outside to your data center, you cannot screen through the request, you cannot protect your applications, right? So what is the problem with the traditional access method? It's the problem of trust, okay? Because today, when you talk about remote access, when you talk about application access, on your firewall, if I want to access a web application over SSL, what is the port that you need to open on a firewall? Port 443, right? HTTPS. You have to allow any coming in to your web application, port 443 allow. On your firewall, you have to allow. You have to allow an incoming, okay? You have to trust. You have to trust there's an incoming connection, yeah? But zero trust works slightly differently. Okay, let me explain. Now, because of the pandemic, how many of you are still working from home today? Okay, not many hands. A lot of the bosses all start to call us to go back office, yeah? Come back, come back. Even in Citrix office, my boss always organize parties, lunch, come back, come back. We need to see each other. But still many of us prefer to work from home. Yeah? Because traveling consumes a lot of time, yeah? So with more and more workforce, right, embracing a hybrid working method, maybe some days of the week you work from home, some days you need to work from office. So more and more people are accessing the network from outside. Maybe from cafe, they are maybe doing work, maybe from home, you are doing work. So all your perimeter defense that you have built and to defend your environment, okay, no longer can secure if the devices are not accessing from your network, but it's outside your network. And you may have applications that the users are accessing that's on SaaS, that's not in your data center. So all these are considerations. Now we talk about zero trust. Okay, you have to identify, first of all, who the user is. And not only that, right, is the device authorized to access. So there's going to be authentication involved. You need to evaluate the risk factor. Okay, you need to look at the policies and apply the policies, not for everybody the same policies, right? Because sometimes the worker may be connecting from a branch office, sometimes they may be connecting outside of office, sometimes they may be connecting from other country. So there are different trust factors that you can configure based on policies and what application they are accessing. All right, and for a zero trust solution, it also has to monitor continuously. Okay, after they have authenticated, you have to make sure you monitor, are they accessing some unauthorized resources, or are they browsing some malicious website after they have been authenticated? So there's going to be continuous monitoring. And of course, you need to have a central view for management and enforcement. So all these are important considerations. Now we talk about implementing zero trust, right? Typically, there are multiple challenges because, first of all, I mentioned, not all applications are on-prem today, yeah? Yeah, because I have SaaS application the users are accessing, it's not on your data center. It's in the cloud. They are not coming into your data center, it's in the cloud, okay? So secure remote access need to consider applications as well. There's also SaaS-based, not everything is on-prem. And there's also challenges where maybe you have contractors that need to access your application, contractors that carry your own device, or you may have employees, right, that bring BYOD, bring your own device. And those devices, maybe you cannot install any agent. Yeah, it's not your device, it's the employee device, it's the contractor device. Maybe you cannot install agent, but they need to access your application. And how do you enforce zero trust? So there must be an agentless method, okay? And then of course, a lot of access are already operating from anywhere, right? Not just within the company premises, it could be accessing out of office. So all these need to be considered. And we talk about a hybrid workforce, right? Citrix today has the offering called Secure Private Access. It's cloud-based offering, you can subscribe. Okay, we have it already today, it's based on zero trust. It's uniquely positioned to enable your hybrid workforce. What does our zero trust encompass, right? First of all, we can still allow you to access to all your traditional IT sanctioned application. What does that mean? It means your TCP, UDP application, client-server-based application that you are requiring the users to access on your data center. Those can still be accessed, okay? And it also need to actually have per application policies to evaluate, because after the user has been authenticated, you want to make sure he's only allowed to access a set of applications, not all applications, a set of applications that he has, right? So there need to be policies based, and this has to be per application level. You can actually create, right, so that the users do not have access to everything, but the set of application that he has access to, okay? And since we're talking about zero trust and the worker can be connecting from anywhere, this solution also need to cover a geographic workforce, right? Because the worker can be working from Thailand, maybe working from Singapore, maybe traveling to United States. He still need to access, right, and do work, right? Especially nowadays when we take leave, on leave, my boss still asks me, hey, James, did you check your email? Wow, on leave, I still need to check email. Okay. No, I'm not saying you need to work, all right? When you're on holiday, please holiday. No, tell your boss, don't disturb me, all right? But we still need to allow our workers to access, right? When they need to access. So zero trust need to cover a geographic location. Citrix has point of presence around the globe, right? Because it's a cloud-based offering. Our secure private access is a cloud-based offering. And of course, you need to maintain a standard best user experience, no matter where they're connecting from. Okay, so if we look at our feature sets, right? First of all, we want to allow you to still continue to access all your TCP, UDP-based application. If you think about that, right? How many of you are using VPN technology today? Just show me your hand. Yeah, quite a few. Thank you. VPN, right? Now, if you are using VPN, then you are familiar what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you launching an agent, authentication, and then after you're connected, you can connect your application, like how you connect to VPN, okay? Similar but not the same, Same but not the same, okay? The difference is VPN allows you to connect from outside to your organization inside. You open a port 443 inbound, okay? Zero trust, right, from us, right? There's no inbound firewall port 443, no, okay? We'll deploy a connector appliance in your on-prem data center, and that connector appliance will connect an outbound 443 to our Citrix cloud. It's outbound. You will not have inbound, okay? It's outbound. Your firewall do not open inbound. Zero trust. Zero trust, okay? This is different from VPN, okay? So we allow outbound, it's connected to our Citrix cloud. And the users will then connect to our Citrix cloud, outbound. So there's 443 established from users to our cloud. There's an on-prem connector appliance establishing outbound 443 to our cloud. So both connections connect to our Citrix cloud. Once that tunnel is formed, the users then are allowed to access the application through the connector appliance, through our Citrix cloud, okay? Without you opening an inbound 443. And I'll talk about that in the next few slides. So there's Ztna, there is also adaptive authentication. Multi-factor authentication is important. So today, for example, I am, say, connecting from my company-issued trusted device. I have the SSL certificate, right? Company-issued the SSL certificate. Now, when my company do an endpoint analysis, when I connect to Citrix Cloud, it authenticate me. Before it authenticate, it check me, check my device. Do I have the SSL cert? All right. Is my device compliant to company policy? If everything is yes, 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 okay, then the authentication maybe is user ID and password. Enough, for example. Now, but if I'm connecting from my mother-in-law home, from her computer, I connect. I don't have the SSL cert. My device is my mother-in-law computer, not trusted. Okay, all the check is failed. Okay, but the company still want to authenticate you. He will issue two-factor authentication because the device is untrusted. So we will know, based on our security check, what is the authentication we want to implement. Single factor, two-factor, what kind of two-factor? You can define. Okay, so if it's an untrusted device, we challenge you, two-factor. But if you want to do two-factor all the time, also can. So it's definable. So it's contextual, right? It has to adapt. Maybe based on location, based on network, source network, all these can be defined. Okay, and then of course, for web-based application, we need to have single sign-on. Okay, we also need to enforce contextual access. This is very important and differentiator. When we allow you to access an application, okay, we can define things like, hey, I want to prevent screen capture. Because if you want to do a screen capture on from your computer, everything becomes black screen. I blank it for you so that you cannot leak, right, or share any information from the screen, okay? Anti-screen capture, we have this technology. There's also anti-key logging. Anti-key logging, yeah, if your computer has malware and if you are accessing our application, okay, we have anti-key logging kick in, right, to secure so that your keyword and password, all these are not leaked, right, because everything that's captured will be scrambled, right? So these are some of the technologies that we have. And of course, we have browser isolation. Browser isolation is very important. When we talk about web-based application, right, there is the traditional browser that you launch from your machine, i.e. It can be Chrome, could be Mozilla Firefox and whatever browser that you are running on your machine. You can access from that. The second type of browser is our workspace browser, our Citrix embedded browser that is run not from your machine, but from our workspace app. Okay, so this is a more secure browser. And the third browser is our secure browser service, a cloud-based browser that's running in the cloud. So that if that session is compromised, if you close the browser session, everything is destroyed. There's no traces, right, between the cloud instance and your local device. So there are all these browser isolations, and of course, there's monitoring and visibility. Okay, now talk about use cases. We always have, we want to cover things like, for example, when a users want to access, okay, he can be a BYO device, can be your company-issued device. They authenticate, you connect to Citrix Cloud. They can access SaaS-based application. They can access your internal IT application, TCP, UDP, SaaS-based application. We can launch a secure browser service as well. That's secure and isolated. All right. So those are the different methods that you can access. Okay, and of course, we also have risk scoring and Citrix analytics for monitoring if the users is accessing any malicious website. Because we also have web category checking. Yeah, if the user is browsing from our browser, we can check. And we can block, we can implement category blocking. Pornography, no. Gambling, no. All right, all those we can actually block and we can actually track the users. All right, and of course we integrate with all the various SAML 2.0 vendors for multi-factor authentication. Okay, last but not least, right, my last slide. So why secure private access? First of all, we can allow you to still access all your traditional TCP, UDP-based IT application that you have it on-prem. You also allow you to access SaaS-based applications, so it covers both. And not only that, right, our differentiator is we also allow you to integrate with our Citrix virtual apps and desktop, or our desktop as a service. Both can be accessed from our Citrix cloud. Okay, so there's integration with our rest of our technology. And of course, there's global presence for point of presence. And we also have a very deep in analytics, right? Whenever the users are accessing whatever applications. All right, and with that, I think the slides will be shared with you. You can start a request for a trial. You can test it in your environment. Okay, 60 days trial, you can just sign it up. All right, that's all. If I speak too fast, you can catch me at the booth there. We have a booth over there, and we can happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. A big round of applause. Kindly remain on the stage, Mr. James Lee. And up next, Kun Ztna will be doing the honor of summing up what you have just mentioned in Thai once again and present a token of appreciation to you as well.
สวัสดีค่ะอย่าเพิ่งเบื่อหน้านะคะเดี๋ยวจะขอแลปอัพสักประมาณครึ่งนาทีนะคะก็คือในส่วนของ Citrix เองนะคะก็จะต่างจากในฝั่งของเทคโนโลยีเจ้าอื่นก็คือเขาจะมีเป็นลักษณะของ Remote Workspace provide ไว้ให้นะคะแล้วสิ่งที่เขาพยายามสื่อก็คือจะเป็นในเรื่องของ CTNA ก็คือเป็นในเรื่องของ Zero Touch Asset Network เพราะเนื่องจากว่าเขาก็จะมีว่าโอเคเขาสามารถที่จะพูดตั้งแต่ในฝั่งของ Identity Network Application แล้วก็ในฝั่งของ Data One Access ไปแล้วเนี่ยเขาก็จะเป็นลักษณะของว่าเขาบอกเขาไม่ได้ขายสปานะคะสปานวดแต่จะเป็นในเรื่องของสปา Zero Touch สปาย่อมจากอะไรใครพอจะจำได้ไหมคะยกมือได้ไหมคะสปาย่อมจากอะไร SPA เดี๋ยวไปรับของรางวัลที่บูธ Citrix ได้เลยค่ะ SPA ย่อมจากอะไรฮะสปาค่ะ Secure Private Access นะคะโอเคค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะโอเคก็ I would like to thank you that you support from event and speaker for today. Yep.